Good morning, exhibitors. The judge is on the ground, so this is your 5-minute warning. The show will begin in 5 minutes with senior showmanship. 5 minutes, senior showman. Good morning. Welcome to the 2023 Shippensburg Community Fair Junior Market Swine Show. We're so glad you could join us here this morning. We're going to start today's show with our senior showmanship. Senior showmen. These are ages 17 and older. Coming into the ring, we should have Ivy Bigler, Maverick Geddes, Kara Haynes, Colton Kahn, Ella Monosmith, Brandon Myers, Levi Wickard, and Mason Wickard. Our judge for this morning's show is Amy Wolf. Amy grew up showing all 4 species in South Dakota 4-H, where she competed at all levels. Livestock judging led her to Butler Community College and the Oklahoma State University, where she was on a successful team in 2017. She currently resides in Winchester, Virginia, where she works as the manager of sales and support and logistics for Darling Ingredients. Outside of work, Amy coaches the local livestock judging team, helps with the East Coast Livestock Association, and helps her fiance with MBM Livestock. Amy truly enjoys working with young exhibitors and extends a sincere thank you for the opportunity to evaluate our livestock and work with our exhibitors here today. Let's give Amy a great big round of applause. Welcome to Shippensburg. So glad to have you. Our Market Swine Showmanship classes today are sponsored by Eversole Show Pigs and North Mountain Butcher Shop. Thank you so much for your support and sponsoring our show and providing our exhibitors with support and recognition for their hard work. That's your class, Judge. Intermediate Showman. Intermediate Showman, you may start making your way to ringside. We're running 2 heats. Intermediate division, there will be 2 heats of showmen. In the first heat, intermediate showman, first heat, Colt Cleland, Luke Coyle, Waylon Flasher, Alyssa Fraker, Noah Garvin, Blake Getchell, Kate Getchell, Jeremiah Haycock, and Cord Hetrick. Once again, first heat of intermediate showmen, Cleland through Hetrick. Please come to the holding pen. Exhibitors, the screen in the barn will have the upcoming class, exhibitor name, and numbers for your pigs. If you're lost on the show, check the board. If you see an error or you're confused, ask the ring help or the office.
good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. I know it's going to be toasty today with a high heat index, so we'll try to move through this in a rather efficient manner, yet still give the kids an opportunity to show off their skill set here in showmanship and the animals that they've spent a lot of time on this summer. I'm a huge proponent of showmanship for many different reasons, and one of those being that's the part that you can control no matter your budget. It shows your true work ethic and how much time you've spent in the barn training those animals, feeding the animals, fitting them, and so that's where I really like to sit down and, well, not sit down, but go through and take my time with the kids and talk to them individually and, make sure that they're understanding their pig project. We're in the senior division and all these kids out here, and maybe their first time in the ring, but honestly at their age they should come with some industry knowledge. And one of those things being is, how much does your pig eat, or what is your pig eating, and then what is your pig's ear notch? And we had several individuals out here that didn't quite know what an ear notch was, and some of these hogs aren't necessarily ear notch, but I think that's something that should just be kind of common or practical knowledge, is to understand, a litter number and a pig number and how to read those. So I'm going to go out here and ask these individuals to go ahead and answer a question on the mic, and this has no impact on their placing, but I've had many people comment that they really enjoy this when I judge, and I think it's really important for all of these folks, whether it's grandparents, family members, younger exhibitors standing ringside, to understand why we do what we do right here in this ring. And I think it's just truly important that we continue to raise kids in this industry. In the crazy world that we live in, there's so many things that they can be involved in or they could get in trouble with, but instead we choose to put our passion right here in the livestock industry. And I know it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of sweat, it takes a lot of money, and especially with the prices of commodities these days and livestock and everything. So I commend you guys for coming out here, and exhibitors, I hope that you go home and thank your parents for investing in you and investing in this program. So I'm going to go ahead and ask each of these kids to answer the question, what is the biggest thing that the livestock industry has taught you? So go ahead and introduce your name and how long you've been showing, and then tell me what the livestock industry has taught you. So in the meantime, like this young man has done right here, it's not his first time in the show ring, just shut your hogs down for a minute if you can, because it's going to be a hot, long day. I'll go ahead and start right here with this young man, and I'll just work my way around to answer the question. So young man, what's your name, how long you've been showing, and what's one thing you've learned from the livestock industry?
My name is Maverick Geddes. I've been shown for 8 years. The biggest thing that the livestock industry has shown me is to train your pigs and animals not hard, but not work them as hard on hot days.
Okay, so that's a big thing, knowing when to work your animal and when to keep them shut down. How about you, young lady? What has the livestock industry taught you?
My name is Kara Haynes. I've been showing since I've been 8. This is my last year for the fair. This industry has definitely taught me that you have to be responsible, and the work is done at home, not in the show ring.
It takes a lot of hard work and responsibility, and I think that's a big thing with the kids. Young man, you step this way so I don't squeal on that mic, or on that speaker.
My name is Levi Wickard. I've been showing since I was 8. One thing that has taught me is just to do your best in the show ring. No matter if there's better people, just do what you can do.
Are you having a good time out here? Good. How about you, young man?
My name is Braden Myers. I've been showing for 11 years, and this industry taught me how to be responsible and how to take care of animals.
Amen. Responsibility is huge. Young man over here in the corner.
My name is Mason Wickard. I've been showing for 8 years, and the biggest thing I've learned is probably just to go out, have fun, and it's not always about winning.
I can't agree with that more. Winning's fun. I love to win. I'm as competitive as anybody, but honestly, that's not what it's all about. Young lady over here, how about you?
My name is Emma Monosmith. I've been showing since I was 8, and it just taught me hard work and responsibility, and like Mason just said, winning's not everything, to go out and have fun.
Agree. You all have the same thought process. Young lady right here with the belted hog.
My name is Ivy Bigler. I've been showing for 3 years, and it definitely taught me a lot of patience. Not everything goes your way.
That is so true. That's a good one. Patience. Young man right here.
My name is Colton Kahn. I've been showing since I was 8, and it taught me a sense of responsibility and how to care for animals.
A sense of responsibility and how to care for animals. Spot on. So all these exhibitors went ahead and shared their thoughts, and I agree with them. I've had lots of different interesting answers over the years when I've asked that question, but those are a lot of the similar ones that people come up with. So go ahead and fire your hogs back up. I think out here we've got 8 individuals that do a nice job. You know, I think it kind of breaks down in terms of just those who kind of came right out the gate, sifted themselves to the top in terms of their show ring presence, their control of that animal, their whip usage, just getting that animal's head up. I'm going to go ahead and talk them from top to bottom and work through them. And so I think those of you who are maybe in, 6, 7, 8, there's just a couple things we want to work on. That's just your pace. That's making sure you practice with your animal at home. Even if you don't have the barn space or you don't have the yard that's maybe fenced in, make sure you kind of work with them in a small area and practice getting them out and going, because I think a lot of these hogs out here want to go and stop. And I caught a couple of you guys kind of on the fence. Young man right here, you're going to be an 8th today. So I want to make sure that when we have the pigs out here, the pig stays between you and me, okay? And there was a couple times I caught you over here on the fence, you'll be an 8th. Young man right here, you're going to be in 7. When I come around, I want you to make sure you're on the front side of that hog, okay? Position yourself so that you're not in the way of the judge. Young man right here in the middle, you're going to be next. I think you do a nice job. Your eye contact is really, really good, because every time I looked over to you, you were looking at me. Great about that. We just got to get that pig moving, okay? We just got to make sure that that pace keeps going. Then as we talk through the next individual, the young lady over here with the belted pig is going to come in 5. I think one that does a nice job. I think maybe I'd like to just see a little bit more intensity, get down with your pig, use that whip a little bit more, and try to get that pig's head up is the biggest thing. Coming in next is going to be a young lady here with this spotted up belted type hog and the blue polo. She does a really nice job. We need to work on a couple things in terms of just answering questions and knowledge. And then again, when I caught right behind you, you kind of just stood there, and I want to see you move to the front side of that hog. Then as we talk about our top 3 individuals, I think that's where it gets really close for me between the young man over here in the pineapple, the young man right in front of me, and the young lady over here with the predominantly white barrow. And I think those 3, in terms of just their show ring presence, like I mentioned, they came out of the gate, they got that view of the front of the pig, then they made their way behind me. When I step over in the corner of the ring, I want you guys to not get on top of me. I want you to leave enough space, though, and get around me. And then when I tell you to drive your pig right at me and I motion with my hands, that means drive the pig at me, okay? I want to see those views, and I want you to understand how you should be presenting yourself in the ring. So today, young lady right here is going to be 3rd. When I said drive your pig at me, you started walking to me without the pig. So just one small little difference. Young man right here, you're going to be our reserve champion senior showman. I want to see that gilt moving more, okay? She just kind of has a real chill attitude, real slow. Just get her out and get moving, but I think you do a really, really nice job. That leaves the young man out here as our grand champion overall. He does an incredible job in terms of just his coolness, his calmness. He's real collective. He came out of the gate and knew exactly where to be in the ring. Let's give them all a really, really big round of applause on a great job. Congratulations, senior showman.
Senior showman champion Braden Myers. 2nd place Maverick Geddes. 3rd Emma Monosmith. 4th Kara Haynes. 5th Ivy Bigler. 6th Mason Wickard. 7 Levi Wickard. 8 Colton Kahn. Congratulations, senior showman. We're now ready for our intermediate heat A. Intermediate heat A. Can we get some help clearing this last pig from the ring? Just a reminder to exhibitors and parents, try to keep that center aisle clear. I know everybody wants to see their kids show, but we got to be able to move pigs back and forth pretty freely, so let's keep the center aisle open. You're welcome around any of the rails in the other parts of the show ring. Intermediate, Heat A. All right, intermediate, ages 14 to 16, Heat A, Colt Cleland, Luke Coyle, Roland Flasher, Alyssa Fraker, Noah Garvin, Blake Getchall, Keith Getchall, Jeremiah Haycock, and Cord Hetrick. That's your heat. Intermediate showman, Heat B, please make your way to the holding pen. Heat B, Josh Holtree, Ashlyn Lenker, Mitchell Musser, Jolie Naylor, Hannah Orris, Charlie Schock, Sherlyn Swope, Cooper Umbrell. Intermediate Heat B, make your way to the holding pen.
Let's give this next heat of showmen a big round of applause, if you would, please. I talked to some of the individuals out here. One of the biggest things is when we get to this age and exhibitors are a lot taller, we want to use a show whip or a pipe, whatever it is of your choice, that's a little bit longer. Some of us are out here with something that's really, really short. And so even if you don't have one in your own show box, maybe ask an older exhibitor or a younger exhibitor, someone in your 4-H club, if you could borrow their show whip, just because I think that doesn't allow us to kind of stand back. We're getting too close up, like your man right there. You're near the shoulder of the hog, and I want you back at the hip. Okay, so I talked to a couple of them about that. Then the things that we need to keep in mind is just staying out of this corner. And I told the young man at the blue hog over here that started squealing just to relax. I didn't want him to wear that pig out. But for the rest of you, just make sure that you get in here and you don't get in the crowd. Where are you going to get lost? In the crowd. So young lady over here is doing a really nice job because she is away from all of the other pigs. Young lady, you're going to go hang out and come back in here for our final heat, okay? You're going to come back. Young man, I know that you seem a little bit worked up. I want you to relax, okay? You're going to have the opportunity to come back and showcase your skills here shortly. Then we got the young man over here with the blue pig. Did a really incredible job coming right out the gate. He's going to go ahead and come back. And then our young man over there in the nice pink pig shirt is going to come back as well. So those 4 exhibitors are going to come back for our final job. But let's give it up for all of them again on a really nice job.
Qualifying for the finals from Heat A, Colt Cleon, Alyssa Fraker, Blake Gutschall, and Cord Hetrick. Next class, Intermediate Showmanship B. Intermediate Showmanship B. All right, Heat B. Josh Huntrey, Ashlyn Ranker, Mitchell Musser, Charlie Naylor, Hannah Orris, Charlie Shuck, Shaylin Swope, and Cooper Umbrell.
Let's give this group a big round of applause. A more challenging challenging showmanship heat, if you will, and I'm going to go ahead and keep the young individuals that shut their pigs down there on the fence and have them stay in the ring and come back for our final job. I'm not big on, oh, you've got to play 7, I'm only going to keep 7. If you deserve to be back out in this ring, by gosh, I'll pull the entire class back if I think that's what it takes, just to be able to show that you know how to show your pig and give you a fair shake at the top 5 or 7, 10, whatever it is that you're placing. And so today we got to place 7, so I kept a couple from the other class, and I think those 4 individuals just lifted themselves away from the 4 that are still standing out here in the ring, just for simply things like you need to utilize the ring. If there's all of this space and I start walking the other way, you need to start driving towards me. We need to get a little bit more intense with our whip usage, not overuse it, but sometimes we're barely just tapping it, and that's when we can't guide our pig and we're on the fence too much. So I talked to the 4 exhibitors that are still out here, and we're going to kindly dismiss them back to the barn. But if you would, a big round of applause for those going back to the barn. We'll bring the others back in and sort them again.
Qualifying for the final drive, Josh Hartree, Ashlyn Linker, Joey Miller, and Cooper Embrell.
Let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause. I have a love-hate relationship with showmanship being before the show. I did when I was an exhibitor, and the reasons are, yeah, it's great to get the pig out here, but then you wear him out for the show. Vice versa, if it's at the end of the show, the pig's worn out and doesn't cooperate for showmanship. So it's kind of a catch-22, if you will. And I don't have the opportunity to see the kids throughout the day show multiple pigs if that's what they're exhibiting. But out here, I think an incredible job by all these exhibitors. And I know these 2 young men over here, their teammates not cooperating today. And short stick, been there, done that. You know what? It's heartbreaking because you've spent all of this time and your teammate just says, I'm done, I'm giving up. But you know what? I can tell that you spent that time, and I don't want you to be discouraged. I want you to go home, and I want you to hang your head high and know that you gave it your all, and you did the right thing to let that pig sit there instead of get worked up and move it around the ring. So let's give it up for the young man over here with the belted ball. Who's going to be on the election today? I have faith, buddy, that you're going to go to the next show and you're going to rise to the top while you show different species as well. I can tell you're a really, really good showman. Coming in next, I think it gets more challenging, and there's a couple of them that quite honestly I think could take the cake in terms of competing with the seniors just because of their intensity and how well they show out here. Coming in next is going to be the young man over there. Your teammate again gave up on you, but I think you did a really nice job. You know what you need to do, and I could tell that in the first heat that you knew kind of how to position yourself, so you're going to be in 7th today. Coming in 6th is going to be our young lady over here that's also near the fence. Does a really nice job in terms of just getting that pig going. There's a couple times that she wasn't necessarily positioned in the right spot or maybe wasn't on the right side of the pig just to be noticed as quickly, but a really nice job to her. I think as we move on down or move on up, I think it gets a little bit closer for me. Coming in next is going to be the young man over there with the bow. I think you did a better job showing when you came back out here for the champion drive than you did when you first came out here because that pig was wanting to run, but I think you kind of calmed the pig down. You calmed down because I told you just to relax, because an animal can sense whether you're nervous or whether you're worked up, and so I think that pig relaxed and you guys work really nice as a pair. Also, kudos to you because you were one of the few exhibitors that came up and shook my hand. A very respectful young man. Parents, you should be proud of him. A really nice job there. I think it gets a little bit closer here for our top 4 for the young individuals over here. Young man right here, you're going to be 4 today. I love your intensity and how you get down. Sometimes maybe it's just a little bit too much for me, and I want you just to kind of relax and find that happy medium between intense and just calm and smooth, if you will, okay? Make sure you get that pig in the right place at all times. All right, young exhibitors right here, we've hired these final 3 up. I want the exhibitors and the parents ringside to watch these young showmen. I want you to go home, and I want you to figure out what it takes to be like them. I want you to ask them questions. What is it that you do day in and day out? The skin and hair, the routine that they have in the barn, if they're willing to share, and I know some people are like, oh, it's top secret. You don't have to share your feed rations and share everything. Give them a few pointers. That is what 4-H and FFA is about. So exhibitors right here, I hope that you'll help other individuals because I'm pretty certain that someone's probably helped you get to this point. I think all 3 of you, impeccable job. You can show pigs for me any day of the week. Coming in 3rd is going to be our young lady right over here in the gray polo. Great job. She does a nice job right out the gate. Her showroom presence, just getting that pig moving. Young lady, deserve champion over here. A couple times you just need to get a little bit quicker with that pig. Kick her up in the air. Kick him up again. Really great job. Lizzie, sharp champion. He came out here with a whoop and attitude. And I love that we're so supportive of these kids. I think this kid, every time I turned, he was in my line of vision. He knew exactly where he needed to be. He's calm, yet intense. That right there is a really good showman. Congratulations. Another big round of applause for everyone out here.
Intermediate showman champion, Cooper. Second place, Jeremy Miller. 3rd, Ashlyn Lenker. 4th, Josh Hartree. 5th, Coolard Hetrick. 6th, Alyssa Fraker. 7th, Blake Getcher. And 8th, Colt Cleveland. Congratulations, intermediate showman. Junior showman, Heat A. Junior showman, Heat A. Into the ring. Tyler Bust. Colton Kleberger, Judd Cleland, Chase Cozy, Caitlin Garvin, Ashton Getchell, Blake Hammond, and Joseph Haycock. Heat A, into the ring. Joseph Haycock, you're needed in the ring. Joseph Haycock. That's your heat. Junior Showmanship, Heat B. Heat B to the holding pen. Heat B to the holding pen. Caitlin Hotry, Sharon Kutz, Braden Miller, Declan Smith, Tanner Smith, Colton Stanley, Max Whitmer. Junior Showman, Heat B to the holding pen.
Let's give those exhibitors another big round of applause. We're going to go ahead and ask the four young men that are over there towards the fence with their pigs shut down to come back. I think, again, they just have the most control of their animal. They're using the right kind of whip. They came out here and they just presented themselves and their pigs very well. And I asked them a question and they were able to answer that as well. I talked to the other individuals and talked about things like maybe we need to make sure, again, we're not crossing between the pig and the judge. Maybe we need to use that whip that's a little bit sturdier so that you can give it a little bit more of an oomph behind it and get that pig going. Or maybe we need to just make sure that the pig is off the fence and out of the way. So let's give them a big round of applause. We'll dismiss those guys. We'll bring in the next heat, and then those young men will come back again for the champion drive.
Junior Showman, Heat B, entering the ring, Caitlin Holtree, Sean Kutz, Brandon Moore, Declan Smith, Taylor Smith, Colton Stanley, and Max Whitmer. From Heat A, qualifying for the finals, Tyler Best, Jug Cleland, Chase Crozy, and Blake Hammond.
I think these kiddos deserve a round of applause as well. You can kind of notice a trend or a pattern, and so as the pigs come out, I kind of start sorting them in my mind. Do they come to the front? He can hit that board. You know, a gate impression, right out the gate, that exhibitor in that first 30 seconds kind of gives me a, all right, this kid's serious about this. This kid's just here to kind of have fun. You know, are they going too fast? Are they going too slow? Do they know at what point in the ring and where they should be at what time? So again, for first impression is really important. I also commend some of these exhibitors were obviously listening, or they knew well enough about the whole switching sides thing. So that's the nice thing about when seniors show first, always send someone up here, and even if you're in the next class getting your pig ready, send someone up or come up yourself and watch the older kids. Listen, what is that judge looking for? And so that'll help you if you're in those younger classes. I talked to a couple of the exhibitors about a couple things we want to work on, but they're still going to have the opportunity to come back. And then I talked to the exhibitors out here that are going to go ahead and be dismissed. Young man right here is going to be dismissed, young man over there in the blue polo, and then the young man over here with the dark appearing hole. Just a couple things that we want to work on in terms of just kind of their whip placement or their body placement and getting that pig in the right place at the right time. So we're going to go ahead and have 4 of these individuals come back. So congratulations to them.
Qualifying for the finals, Caitlin Hotry, Declan Smith, Captain Staney, and Max Whitmer. We're ready for our final drive of the junior showmanship class. This is our junior showmanship finals. Novice Showman Heat A. Slowly make your way to ringside. Novice Showman Heat A. Casey Bear, Jacob Best, Emily Cleland, Gage Cleland, Clayton Cruzy, Jack Gutcher, Jordan Kahn. Novice Showman Heat A. Slowly make your way to the ringside.
Wow, what a great group of individuals out here. We got the young lady with all the boys on, and it's tough, I'll be honest. So let's give them a big round of applause for making it back out here. I think, as the day warms up, I think our competition is heating up as well. I said the other divisions were good, and they were, but I think this one probably for me has been the most challenging to place. I think I found one that kind of falls out in terms of just maybe intensity and kind of just the show ring presence. And then there was one right out the gate. I said, by gosh, this guy is going to be in the top 3 and guaranteed, and he is. And so I think that's where it gets closer, those on 2nd through 6th, and just little things that kind of sort themselves. And so for me, a young man over here with the spotted bear is going to go ahead and be the one that's going to round out the showmanship division. I think he's just simply maybe the most relaxed out here. He needs a little bit more intensity. I think he does a nice job, but as a tall young man, he just kind of follows the pig and lets the pig go where he wants to go. Coming in next is going to go ahead and be our young lady over there in the corner. I think she too is relaxed and does a nice job, yet she's intense and maybe a little bit too much for me, just being down too much. And I want to see that girl moving and getting that head up. I think she's focused a little bit too much on eye contact and where I'm at instead of getting the pig in the right spot at the right time. Then this is where it gets challenging, and so I think there's small little differences. Next is going to be the young man over here in with the white pig in the corner. One that, again, does a really nice job, really relaxed, incredible eye contact, and moving that pig about the ring. It's just times like now when it gets to the fence and kind of gets lost in the mix, if you will. Coming in next is going to be a young man out here in the center of the ring. You've got that brush in your pocket for a reason, young man. I want you to use it. Your pig needs it right about now, and I know that sometimes it's not the most ideal situation. I know a couple times your pig probably gave up on you a little bit. That teammate just went to the fence too many times, and your pig didn't quite have another gear. So I want to put it in a quicker gear and get it moving. And then as it comes down to the final individuals, I think, you have your personal preference today. This is my opinion out here and how they presented themselves today and whether they showed better and listened to me. For example, I'm not placing them currently, but young man right here, I told you to keep your hand off that pig, and you listened. You came back. There was one time I saw you wanted to do it, and you made sure that you didn't. So those are the things. And then I saw a young exhibitor that didn't make it back, standing over there on the side of the ring. And those are the things that I noticed out here, so I commend you for. Let's start this for I think it gets really, really tough. Coming in 4 is going to be our young man over here. Really great eye contact. For me, there was just a few too many times that pig wasn't moving. You were down and you were looking at me, and that pig was just kind of staring. So I want you to get that pig going. Practice at home and do long walks and wide turns, okay? Then, as we work to the top 3, again, I think really, really close for me, especially between 2nd and 3rd. Flip a coin how you like them. I think one of them showed a little bit better in class, and then one of them came back out here and kicked in gear with a champion drag. So for me, I think the 3rd overall today is going to be the only in the red. Just didn't quite have it there in class. A couple times maybe it was caught in a different spot than it should have been, but a great job. You know, right here, you're going to be our reserve champion show. An incredible job. Just your showing presence, your ability to get that pig out there and present it to the best of its ability. And then that is your champion show right here. Young man, congratulations. Incredible job.
Junior Division Showmanship Champion Taylor Best. 2nd place Chase Cruzy. 3rd place Declan Smith. 4th Blake Hammond. 5th Judd Cleveland. 6, Colton Stamey. 7, Caitlin Holtree. And 8th, Max Whitmer. Congratulations to all of our exhibitors. Great job. Exhibitors, please clear that side out so we can move pigs. I know you want to see the show. Pick a different row, please. All right, next class, Novice Showman, Heat A. Casey Barr, Jacob Best, Emmeline Cleveland, Gage Cleveland, Clayton Cozy, Jack Gutschel, and Jordan Kahn. That's your heat. Novice Showman, Heat B. Make your way to the holding pen. Heat B. Henry Kutz, Addie Martin, Gwen McKee, Caleb Miller, Cassius Scrignoli, Blake Smith, Clayton Stamey. Novice Heat B to ringside.
Let's give it up for these novice exhibitors. You know, I think they could come back and compete against the older kids because all of them do a really, really nice job, and their intensity level, obviously it's not their first time in the show ring. We're going to go ahead and ask 5 of the 7 to come back. I talked to the 2 individuals that we're going to dismiss and, told them a couple things that I want them to work on next time. And I think that's the nice thing about showmanship and talking with the judge is you should set goals for yourself. And I hope, if nothing else, that you come back next year better than you were today, or maybe even next weekend or tomorrow, or if you're showing another species yet, go ahead and set some goals for yourself and work on those things, because I can tell the individuals that are coming back obviously are go-getters and have some goals. And so these 2 individuals right here in the gray polo and the green polo, give them a round of applause for a nice job. They're going to go ahead and to the barn. A couple things to work on as far as whip placement, knowing where I'm at all times. The other 5 individuals, I want you to relax, okay? Well, I'm going to judge the next ones, then you guys can fire it back up in the grand champion drive, and we'll sort through them again. So congratulations to those novice exhibitors.
Novice Heat A qualifying for the finals. Casey Blair, Jacob Best, Emmeline Cleveland, Gage Cleveland, and Clayton Cruzy. All right, we're ready for Heat B. Henry Kutz, Addie Martin, Gwen McKee, Caleb Miller, Cassius Scrignoli, Blake Smith, and Clayton Stamey. Once again, our showmanship divisions are sponsored by Ebersol Show Pigs and North Mountain Butcher Shop. Thank you so much for your support of our youth and of each of our divisions of showmanship here at the fair. Let's give them a round of applause. Ebersols and North Mountain.
Let's give it up for the exhibitors in here and our wingman with the boards. They've got the important job today, and I won't trade you because I've been there, done that. I remember when I was a showman and I thought I was going to be the brave exhibitor to break it up myself. When I put my hand in there, and I quickly learned a lesson. So exhibitors, don't put your hand between another pig and another pig that are fighting. These guys I talked to them out here, they do a really nice job. I think there's a couple of them that maybe have a little bit more experience, a little bit more show ring awareness, if you will, kind of knowing where I'm at all times. That's what I talked to about to several of them, and I think there's a couple of them, young lady right here in the black, just really calm, really collective. She's going to go ahead and stay in the ring for our champion job. Young man right here in the black polo is going to stay back as well. We want to work on keeping our hand off that pig that's not using the whip, but he does a really nice job. And then the young man over there on the far side that's now in the corner, pig's not quite cooperating, but I can tell that you really want to be out here, and in the beginning you did a really nice job. So those three exhibitors are going to hang out with us. The rest of them are going to be heading back to the barn. But again, parents, encourage these kids to keep doing what they're doing. Just because they didn't get to make it back today, that doesn't mean that they don't have another opportunity. It's just my opinion, and there's small things that sort them. I love showmanship, but I hate breaking little kids' hearts and letting them know that they didn't make it to the top. So, but there's always a place that they can work on things, and I think that's what makes them better kids, better adults on down the road, is if we continue to set goals and work towards those. So congratulations, novice exhibitors. I look forward to sorting through our final showmanship drive here in just a few minutes.
Qualifying for the finals, Henry Kurtz, Abby Martin, and Clayton Stanley. All right, we're ready for our novice showmanship finals. Novice finals. In the ring, we should have Casey Byer, Jacob Best, Emmeline Cleland, Gage Cleland, Chase Cruzy, Henry Kurtz, Addie Martin, and Clayton Stamey. Next in the ring will be our champion Market Hog Showman class. In just a few minutes, we'll be looking for the winners of each of our age divisions. Exhibitors, if you want to start getting your pig ready and coming to the hunting pen. Senior division, Brandon Myers. Intermediate, Cooper Umbrell. Junior, Tyler Best. Once again, up next, champion Market Hog Showman class.
One word comes to mind in sorting through the novice champion drive, and that's wow. Let's give it up for these exhibitors out here. This is by far the most challenging decision I've had to make yet today. I think the top of this novice exhibitor heat and champion drive is by far incredible. And I think they could go to any county in the state, surrounding states, any of the circuits, and be at the top of the points deal or surfacing to the top, because I think out the gate, you can tell that they've worked with these pigs at home and built endurance, because despite the crazy heat, these pigs aren't breaking down on them. They're holding together. They drive with their head up naturally, and these exhibitors are so smooth in their turns. I asked all the other exhibitors to kind of just relax, because I think it came down to 3 of them ultimately, and then there was one that kind of sifted out. So the 2 young men that come to the top are standing right here to my left in this Hawaiian shirt, and the young man over there with the belted kind of chromed up hog. And we'll talk about the rest of them before I name your champion in reserve. Again, incredible job. Rounding out the class today with our novice is going to be the young man over there with the calico type hog. One that just maybe doesn't want to get out and show, kind of stays close to the fence. Give that kid an opportunity to come back out and do a nice job showing him. Unfortunately, he hung close to the fence, so he'll go ahead and round out the class today. Then I think it comes next to the young man in the white standing right next, or the black shirt with the white pig standing right next to him, because I think one that does a nice job, but maybe a little bit more relaxed, not as quite as intense, and at those times just kind of got lost in the mix and separate himself out. Coming in next is going to be a young lady with the black bar right here. Again, really calm and collective. Just need to kick it up a gear, or maybe get out there and show your pig now in the center of the ring and the awareness of where I'm at. Coming in next is going to be the young man over here with the belted pig. Does a great job. I like kind of his body placement, his posture, but I think there was a couple times, one of them being when he drove him right at me, he turned and he was right there beside me and got between me and the pig. And then coming in next, young man over here, you do a really nice job, especially when you came out in your particular division. I was like, this kid's intense. He's in it to win it. Maybe just a couple times that your pig didn't want to get moving and ultimately gave up, and that's just the short stick that you draw today. But don't give up, because I have full confidence that you'll be at the top next time. Give it with your go attitude. And as we work on here in the top three, I think incredible showman. I said it in one of the other heats, these three could show pigs for me any day, or in fact be a mentor to other kids, because I think they do a really nice job. Young lady, you're going to end up third today. There was a couple times you just got over towards the fence, and I know what you will, and I apologize, but I think that's what makes it tough, and that's kind of what separates the fine hairs, is just the endurance and the ability to stay and show until the end. So you do a great job as far as your body posture is spot on. You're getting that head up and knowing where to go in the ring really good. Then it comes down to these two fine young men right here, and wow, two kind of different styles of showmen, but I think both of them, kind of pick your poison. Both of them do a really nice job. Young man right here is super intense, almost to the point when he first came in, I was intimidated. I was like, wow, this kid isn't going to win. He's going to be really upset with me, because I think just the look on your face and kind of your intensity and the way you position yourself with that pig is really good. Young man over here on the fence, smart in terms of letting that pig relax for a minute, because I've worked you really hard. There was a couple times I think that your turns weren't quite as sharp, but again, every time that I would walk this way, you guys knew to drive those hogs right at me. You kept them the right distance. Again, flip a coin, someone else can choose. For me today, young man right here in the Hawaiian shirt's going to be champion. Right there is going to be reserved. Congratulations, young men. A fine job.
Novice Showman Champion Casey Barr. Second place Jacob Best. Third Emmeline Cleveland. Fourth Gage Cleveland. Fifth Clayton Crozy. Sixth Addie Martin. Seventh Clayton Stamey. And eighth Henry Kutz. Let's give a great big round of applause for all of our exhibitors. Showmanship's always a long, hard drive. We try to do it when it's cooler. Didn't work today, but we tried. Once again, our division showmanships were sponsored by Ebersol Show Pigs and North Mountain Butcher Shop. So thank you very much to them for their support. We're now ready for our champion showmanship drive. Our champion showman is sponsored by Todd Umbrell Auctioneering. Into the ring, senior champion Braden Myers. Intermediate champion Cooper Umbrell. Junior champion Tyler Best. And novice champion Casey Barr. Sorry, Naylor. Please go down off the rails.
Let's give a huge round of applause for these young men out here. I lied earlier when I said it was the most challenging decision of the day. It was to that point. I'm now going to offer the microphone up if anyone wants to come out here and select the champion, because it's not easy. And I think that, take these guys to any show. You could go out to LAE in Oklahoma. You could go to the Indiana State Fair, wherever it is. These kids are going to surface to the top. They're cream of the crop. They just do an impeccable job of just the way they present their animals, the way they present themselves. And I think the testament of a really good showman is being able to grab another pig, even though one you haven't worked with it at home, and just show it off to the best of your ability. And I was kind of hoping that one of them grabbed a pig and maybe just didn't get it to work quite as well. But all three that I had switched did a great, great job. I think it comes down to just little, splitting hair differences for me. And I don't think I can say that I've judged a show where our novice has been as competitive as our senior, because young man out here in the Hawaiian shirt, really, just because your age, you fit into that category doesn't mean that that's your experience level. I think, again, super, super close. My personal favorite, because I think this person was the most consistent and found that happy, medium, really hard area to find in terms of intensity, but just calmness. Young man in the watermelon shirt, our grand champion.
Grand champion, Lucky Rock Sherman goes to Cooper.
I think it gets really close, and I know that I just have to pick the champion. So I just want to commend you guys. And I think one of the coolest things that I saw today is after one of the other age divisions, I saw an exhibitor exit the ring that had won, and a couple of kids came up and gave him a bear hug, and that gave me goosebumps, because that's what it's about. I think right here in this ring is where we build competitors. Outside of the ring is where we build individuals, future leaders, and friendships. Congratulations, exhibitors. You did an awesome, awesome job.
But wait, there's more. Cooper and Burr has already qualified for our Supreme Showmanship contest, so we're going to bring in the next qualified individual from the intermediate showman classes. And we're going to bring Maverick in for the senior division, as well as Braden Myers is also not eligible. And we'll let our judge pick who should represent Market Swine in tonight's Supreme Showmanship contest. Next in the ring, we'll need our underweight market hogs. Charlie Shocks 353, Noah Garvin 199, and Glenn McKee 304. Underweight market hogs to the holding pen.
Let me drop out here two more exhibitors because the young man that was selected champion already won another species. So to represent the pigs in the Supreme Showman, I think, again, it gets really, really close, and I was hoping that I didn't have to place the two young individuals that we just had out here because I think both do an incredible job. For me, my second favorite young man right here in the Hawaiian shirt. Congratulations.
Representing Market Swine in the Supreme Showmanship will be Casey Breyer. Alright, in the ring should be our underweight market hogs. Underweight Charlie Shark, Noah Garvin, and Glenn McKee.
We're going to go ahead and start right into our market show, and I talked about the exhibitors getting their pigs to kick it in gear. We're going to kick it in gear. It's a hot day, and I take my time on showmanship, but when I rock and roll in the market class. That's not by any means of just any disrespect to the kids, but I think I was taught, think long, think wrong, and so I'm sure when we get to the heavier weight classes, we'll probably slow down just a touch, but we just got three out here, and to my mind, it's pretty easy to see that Belted Bear is going to go ahead and win this class. One that's got the most body, the most volume, one that has the most shape down his top. He's the most practical looking from the side. Coming in next is going to be this young man's Red Bow, one that I think certainly has some grow to him, gets a little bit straight off of both ends of his skeleton, just needs more overall shape. And then the other weight is got a round-sided, lean weight type of a whole, one that's too far featured, just needs more honor in terms of cover. Again, following on the weight class, though, congratulations to those three exhibitors.
Our new market hogs, first place, Glenn McKee, second, Noah Garvin, and third, Charlie Shock. Lightweight 1, market hogs, we're ready for you in the ring. Lightweight 1, Charlie Shock 352, Carl Hedrick 75, Tyler Best 327, Brandon Miller 183, Mitchell Missile 127, and Cal Haynes 282. Lightweight 1, market hogs into the ring. Lightweight 2, Market Hogs, please come to ringside. Lightweight 2, Mana Smith, 67, Cora 102, Cleveland 363, Hetrick 74, Cleveland 365. Lightweight 2 to ringside.
We go ahead and start our lightweight division here. I think this class falls together very nicely. Young man over there that just came out of showmanship is going to be our class winner today. I think that black gilt's so good in terms of her build from the side. I think she reads stronger in her pasterns compared to that of the pig that's going to be in second place. Is she maybe the buildest down her top? No, but I think she's one that's certainly expressive and has plenty of shape and dimension. You know, I think this calico belted bow here is going to be in second. One that's big-footed and stout bone, one that's certainly square in terms of his hip. I think he gets a little bit plainer and flatter through his form. He's not quite as extended as that of our class winner. He falls in second today. Young man over there on the far side of the fence is going to be in third. I think that one is certainly got some ribbon body and has some shape up high. For me, he gets rounder in terms of her makeup pattern. She gets a little bit shorter out of her hip. And this one that gets a little bit plainer way. Then we come in next, and the young man right here with this belted hog is going to go ahead and be next. One that's practical, easy fitting type. Needs to be stronger down its top and more level from blade to hip. One that just kind of falls out in terms of a muscle perspective. And then as we get down to the bottom, these two are more production-oriented type of hogs. Young lady right here is going to come next. One that's deeper about her center body. She's bolder about her cage. And certainly, I think, just has a little bit more shape up high. Young man that rounds out the class. That one's certainly flexible and one that can get out and move with comfort and ease. But I think one is just the loudest and the plainest made in terms of its muscle shape. That one's going to go ahead and finish that class. A nice class as we get started in our Market Hog show.
Lightweight 1, first place, Tyler Best. Second, Kara Haynes. Third, Mitchell Musser. Fourth, Conrad Hetrick. Fifth, Charlie Shock. And sixth, Braden Miller. Next class in the ring, lightweight 2. Lightweight 2 into the ring, Emma Mannesmith, 67, Luke Cooler, 102, Emmeline Clearon, 363, Corin Hetrick, 74, Gage Clearon, 365. Lightweight 2 into the ring. Exhibitors, we know it's hot, we know your pigs don't want to cooperate. Do the best you can, start early, keep them cool, and keep them calm. First place in each class is going to be held at ringside. Second place, you're going back to your pen, but you need to be ready for the champion drive in case you are pulled to replace the first place in your class. So first place held at ringside, second place be on standby at your pen. Lightweight 3, make your way to the holding pen. Lightweight 3, Jordan Miller, 270. Henry Cooks, 317. Jordan Kahn, 351. Clayton Cruzy, 210. Jump Cleveland, 366.
So we started the second class of lightweights. There's a class winner lights out here. The young lady's belted gilt. Saw this one in showmanship. Thought she was extra intriguing. One that I think's really attractive from the side. For her weight, I think she has the right amount of finish and cover on her. I think she's the heaviest muscled, yet the most practical in terms of her build out here. On the other hand, you kind of flip the switch and you got one that's extra burly, extra stout. Young man with that chromed up hog over there on the side of the ring. That one's just too jammed and compact for me. He's a little bit quicker maturing. Obviously, he's a little bit deeper in terms of his center body and has more on him in terms of fat cover. Just finished a little bit too quick for my liking. As we work on down the bottom, young lady's going to come here next with this predominantly black hog. I think one that just needs more blade shape, needs more hip shape, just doesn't put it together in the balanced package, gets a little bit rounder out of her hip. And then as we move on down to the bottom, I think two hogs that both have their problems. Do you want one that's heavy muscle, but not built right encourage you want one that's a little bit more flexible but flatter made, I'm going to go ahead and use the young man's thin belted hog over there, one that's too pinched in terms of his hand-loin junction, just doesn't have enough top shape from blade to hip, gets lighter muscle than flatter made, and then the young man that rounds out the class. That one certainly got some muscle shape and expression, but one that's not made right in terms of opening out his blade and just too tight and restricted off of those rear two. Congratulations to Class 2 exhibitors.
Lightweight 2, first place, Emmeline Cleland. Second, Gage Cleland. Third, Emma Monosmith. Fourth, Cord Hetrick. And fifth, Luke Coral. Lightweight 3, we're ready for the end of the ring. Lightweight 3. Come on, exhibitors, we're moving quick, we know. Quicker we move, quicker we're done. Lightweight 3 in the ring, Jordan Miller 270, Henry Kurtz 317, Jordan Kahn 351, Clayton Cruzy 210, Judd Cleland 366. Lightweight 4 to the holding pen, lightweight 4 to the holding pen, Declan Smith 71, Joseph Haycock 120, Ashton Gutchow 489, Colton Stamey 386, Josh Holtry 259, Casey Bowe 165. Lightweight 4 to the holding pen.
A nice pair of pigs on the top end of this class. Young man over here that came in last in the gate is going to go ahead and class winner. I think that curled up gilt, certainly one that's extended. I think she's built right, and she's the boldest about her blade and works the most shape down her top and back into her hip. I think one that initially I was drawn to and thought was going to be the class winner was that young man out here with the other chromed up gilt. She's certainly probably bolder about her center ribbon body. One that I think she's just a little bit smaller in terms of her foot size. She gets a little bit plainer from her blade forward, and for me, she's not quite as crisp and as true in her muscle shape, especially up high as you read her down her top. And then the young lady that's going to come next, that one is certainly bold man. He's robust in his ribbon body. He's just not put together right from a build standpoint. I think he's a little bit too short about his front. He rounds out of his hip, and consequently, he just wants to roll his hop when you set him at the ground from behind. And then as we move on down to the bottom, young man's red barrel is going to come next, one that you certainly want to make him more relaxed in his spine. He just gets too round and too narrow and plain through the seam of his hand. And then the young lady's got an easy-fitting, long-bodied, practical type of a hog. It's just one look from behind. That pig is too narrow and too flat. That's the lightest muscled one of the class, but congratulations to those exhibitors.
Lightweight 3, first place, Jared Cleland. Second, Clayton Cruzy. Third, Jonah Miller. Fourth, Henry Kurtz. And fifth, Jordan Kahn. Next class, lightweight 4, onto the ring. Declan Smith, 71. Joseph Haycock, 120. Ashton Gutchow, 489. Colin Stamey, 386. Josh Holtry, 259. Casey Bear, 165. Lightweight 4, onto the ring. That's your class. Lightweight 5 to the holding pen. Lightweight 5, Cooper Umbrell 501, Waylon Flasher 310, Ivy Bigler 179, Levi Wickard 475, Jeremiah Haycock 125. Lightweight 5 to ringside.
Another good class that just kind of lines out. Young man in Hawaiian shirt's going to go ahead and start the class. And I'm going to say this one's perfect by any means. No, I think that one gets a little bit flatter on those front pasterns. One that gets a little bit tighter in terms of his top line. You arch that spine. You can't deny that one's extra shape and muscle. I think that one's right where it needs to be in terms of a cover and finish at this weight. That's a nice pig and a place to start. Young man's going to come next year with this belted gilt. Initially, when she came out of the gate, I'm like, okay, this one's kind of our class winner towards the top. One that's heavy muscled. Again, rounder in her muscle pattern, though. She's tight and pinched there in her hem-loin junction. A little bit more restricted there off of her rear, too. And then when we come in next and third, a young lady spotted up hog out there is going to be next. One that's really heavy muscled, bold in terms of her center body. Again, one that's just from a build standpoint, not quite as extended ahead of her blade. One that's a little bit more rocked forward. Just needs to be a little bit better in terms of her skeletal quality. And then coming in next is going to be the young man there with this light colored belted gilt. One that is extremely long bodied, the longest one of the class. Really fresh, really expressive, just too plain and dry in terms of her ribbon body. She needs more muscle shape up high. And then as we get down to the bottom, two pigs, again, that are just more of a commercial type hog that just need a little bit more muscle shape and dimension of the pair. The young man here in the green shirts bio just reads with more product from blade to hip. He's going to go ahead and expose the larger eye when sent to the rail. And then the young man that rounds out the class is just the tubular made, one that needs more ribbon body. Is the furthest featured and is simply the lightest muscle, but a nice class to sort through. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Lightweight 4, first place, Casey Barr. Second, Josh Holtree. Third, Declan Smith. Fourth, Ashton Gutschall. Fifth, Joseph Haycock. And sixth, Colton Staney. Next class in the ring, lightweight 5, Cooper Umbrell 501, Waylon Flasher 310, Ivy Bigler 179, Levi Wickard 475, and Jeremiah Haycock 125. Exhibitors in the barn, please be ready. Next up's our lightweight champion drive. If you were second place in a lightweight class, be at your ring, ready to go. Lightweight 1, second place, Kara Haynes. Lightweight 2, second place, Gage Cleland. Lightweight 3, second place, Clayton Cruzy. Lightweight 4, second place, Joshua Holtree.
Our final class, the lightweights, hits the ring, and it's no contest. Lights out. Young man in the watermelon shirt wins this class and does it so rather quickly in my mind. I think think that one is really padded. She's really good ahead of her blade. Certainly one that's made right. She's heavy muscle. Does she need to kind of roll her hawk from behind and maybe isn't probably the loosest one we've seen? I'd say so, but I think you certainly can't deny that one's extras. And coming in a second, I think a practical place to put this girl's gilt is that one that's over there on the fence, one that's certainly attractive, one that's long-bodied, one that just isn't wowing in any one given area and is more shape and dimension from behind, just reads a little bit plainer and a little bit flatter. Then I think it gets interesting here in our bottom trio, and I'm going to go ahead and use the young man's spotted up hog there next. I think one that just has a bit more topside shape and practical meat animal shape, one that's maybe not built right, one that's probably honestly the poorest in terms of its structure, but it's made it to this point. I think you can't deny that extra shape and dimension. Then coming in next, I think is going to be the young man's white hog. That one certainly from behind is, the lighter muscled one. It's plain and flat, but I think that one's more flexible, longer bodied, and then the young man that rounds out the class. That one's just too round, too fully featured, and he tucks his back feet right underneath himself. But again, a nice class to sort through. Look forward to that division.
Lightweight for first place, Cooper Umbrell. Second, Ivy Bigler. Third, Levi Wickard. Fourth, Jeremiah Haycock. And fifth, Waylon Flasher. We're now ready for our champion lightweight drive. Lightweight 1, Tyler Best. Lightweight 2, Emmeline Cleveland. Lightweight 3, Judd Cleveland. Lightweight 4, Casey Bear. And lightweight 5, Cooper Umbrell. Our lightweight champion drive today is sponsored by Stitt Show Pigs, Josh Abbey and Braxton Stitt. Thank you so much for your support of our youth here in Cumberland and Franklin counties and for our show. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks, Stitts.
Well, as we work through our first division, I think all these pigs out here are really consistent. These are my type of hogs, and I think I'm really pleased with how it kind of fit together. I think they all have their differences, but there's things that you can find that are certainly similar. For me, I think it gets really challenging. There's a couple of them, and we talked to them in class. The young man that comes out with that black pig, one that's really attractive, really neat. Maybe she's not the heaviest muscled, but I think she's built right and she's plenty flexible. Young man that's got this gilt here is certainly powerful. That one's bold bladed. I'd like to change her from her blade forward. I think she just gets a little bit chuffier fronted, if you will. Maybe not quite just as elegant from there. The young lady's belted gilt right here in front of me. One that's certainly extended, one that's certainly big-footed, yet not flat-footed, and I think she's got the right amount of rib and body. She's got plenty of shape. Is she a little bit tighter there in her ham line? Yeah, but I think everywhere else she's put together really nice. Young man's thin-belted hog out here. One that's certainly big-backed. That bow's got plenty of shape and muscle. One that walks head up. To me, I think he just kind of wants to duck there out of his rear too, just ever so slightly. And like I said before, he's not quite as relaxed in terms of his spine. Then the young man that comes out of that last class in this division, one that's certainly a low from the side, a lot of things about, and maybe it's the surface out here her. She just reads a little bit more tentative at the ground, not quite as flexible and as free moving, but one that you can appreciate a lot of things about. So put those things in mind, and which one are you willing to look past their flaws? And there's one out here, I think that's probably just the combination hog for me, and then I think it'll get closer for reserve. Our champion this division is going to be this young lady right here in the black shirt. Congratulations.
Champion weight goes to Emmeline Cleveland. Gage Cleveland, we need your 365 into the ring. Gage Cleveland, 365.
That young man drops that barrel in here, and we talked him in class as being extra stout, extra heavy muscled, one that's just a little bit too compact and quick maturing for me. My second favorite out here, young man in the watermelon shirt with his skill. Congratulations.
Reserve champion lower weight goes to Cooper Embell. Congratulations, lightweight exhibitors. Medium weight 1, start bringing your hogs to the ring. Medium weight 1. Clayton Hetrick, 79. Jeremiah Haycock, 121. Sharon Swope, 180. Blake Getchell, 490. And Blake Hammond, 413. Medium weight 1 in the ring. That's your class. Medium weight 2s, please come to the holding pen. Medium weight 2. Colt Cleveland, 364. Chase Cruzy, 207. Colton Kahn, 348. Clayton Hetrick, 78. Jolie Naylor, 269. Medium weight 2, please come to the holding pen.
we get started here in our next division. I think a class that has some interesting types and kinds out here. And the two that come to the top are definitely heavy muscled. For me, they're just a little bit rounder and things that I'd like to change about both of them. Those two hogs that I was speaking of over here to my right, I'm going to go ahead and use the young man here with the belted hog. I think one that just reads a little bit better in terms of the way he's made ahead of his blade. Maybe one that's not the most flexible at the ground, but certainly has a lot of body and has a lot of shape up high. And there's no denying the young man in that wild pig shirt over there certainly has a stout-made barrel, one that's really robust, one that fed nice, one that too just gets a little bit plainer ahead of his blade. He's a little bit rounder there out of his hip, a little bit shorter, more compact type of a hog. Then we flip to the other side of the spectrum. We've got hogs that are longer, they're leaner, they're more extended, but to me they don't come with that extra muscle shape and that dimension. You study them at the ground coming and going, and they're just plainer and they're narrower made. The young lady there with that blue hog's going to be next. One that you get behind him though, and he's playing through the seam of his ham. He wants to rub those back hocks together, and he's just too narrow for me to move up any higher. And then when we get towards the bottom, I think one that maybe has a little bit more shape, and one that maybe is a little bit more flexible and a little bit leveler down his top. For me, I'm going to go with the muscle shape and expression of the young man over there in the far left corner. I think that one just is a little bit bolder in terms of his center rib cage and dimension. And then the rounding out the class will be this young man right here. One that's long-bodied, one that's lean, but just too straight off of both ends, and the narrowest made hog of the class. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Medium weight one, first place, Blake Hammond. Second place, Blake Gutschall. Third, Shaylin Swope. Fourth, Clayton Hetrick. And fifth, Jeremiah Haycock. Next class, medium weight two, Colt Cleveland, 364. Chase Cree. Colton Kahn, 348. Clayton Hetrick, 78. And Joey Nauer, 269. Medium weight threes, please make your way to the holding pen. Medium weight three, Jacob Best, 408. Sean Kutz, 318. Addie Martin, 380. Clayton Stanley, 385. Hannah Harris, 181. Medium weight threes to the holding pen.
An interesting class out here, and I think if we talk about the hogs from a structural standpoint and a muscle standpoint, for me, the young lady with this red belted hog wins. No, he's not the most extended up front. I think he has a little bit more in terms of cover. He's still laboring off that back one, off of his right back foot, but I think one that probably is just the most complete in terms of his ribbon body and his muscle shape. I really wish this blue hog could run out, because that one certainly is level topped and one that's big bladed and has some muscle and has some dimension, but when that one can't even get out and move, unfortunately it has to go no higher than second in my particular mind. And then the young man that's going to come third. This is the flexible one, the one that's the soundest out here, the longest body. Also gets a little bit straighter in the angle of its blade, one that just doesn't have an shape and dimension. That was too low from the ground when we root up high. Just doesn't have enough expression there to the edge of her loin. And then as we move on down the bottom, I think two, again, practical, easy feeding types of hogs. One for me that's going to be next is the young man right here. I think has more shape through his hand and lower stifle there, and one that just offers a little bit more expression. Certainly not to take away from the young man there. That one's just too straight off of either end, and it's the plainest in terms of its ribbon body. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Medium weight 2, first place Joey Naylor, second Colt Cleveland, third Chase Cruzy, fourth Clayton Hetrick, and fifth Colton Kahn. Next class in the ring, medium weight 3, Jacob Best 408, Sean Cutts 318, Addie Martin 380, Clayton Stanley 385, Hannah Clayton Stanley's 385 and Hannah Orris 191 in the ring. Medium weight 4, please make your way to the holding pen. Medium weight 4, Joseph Haycock 122, Colton Stanley 389, Noah Garvin 198, Clayton Cruzy 209. Medium weight 4s to the holding pen. Attention in and around the barns. We have a vehicle that's got people blocked in the lower lot and needs moved immediately. It is a blue Ford Freestar minivan. Blue Ford Freestar minivan. License plate ESS 3022. Edgar Samuel 3022. Your van needs moved immediately.
Young man brings us this thin belted banner out here, and one that's a little bit tender on the ground in terms of the way he's getting out and moving today, but you certainly can't look past. He's the heavy muscled one who's really robust through his center cage, one that's still attractive up front. To me, he's kind of the best in terms of his skeletal build and his show pig look from the side. Then I think in second is the young lady's black barrel right there, one that just gets plainer made. I think he's a little bit straighter off of his rear too, one that just needs more topside shape and expression. If you want to put a few additives to him or change his feed, maybe just kind of bloomed him up a little bit, he would have had a shot at moving a touch higher, but he's a nice one there in second. Then I think it gets more interesting as we go 3, 4, and 5. Young lady right here has got the heavier muscled, more carcass type of a hog there in 3, one that's certainly long and extended and just has the most shape through its lower ham. Then when we get down next, I think the young man's black hog, one that's certainly not quite as dimensional and doesn't offer the muscle shape and expression as a frailer feature type one, but one that certainly I think reads a little bit better from the side. And then we talk about the one that's the lightest in terms of its features and foot and bone. He's too concave at the base of his rib. The lightest muscled hog is going to go ahead and round out our class. Nice job to those exhibitors.
Medium weight 3, first place Jacob Best. Second, Addie Martin. Third, Hannah Orris. Fourth, Sean Cooks. And fifth, Clayton Stamey. Next class in the ring, medium weight 4. Joseph Haycock, 122. Colton Stamey, 389. Noah Garvin, 198. And Clayton Cruzy, 209.
The young man out here in the center of the ring brings us this belted gilt, the one that's really nice, and I can appreciate a lot of things about. Yeah, she's a little bit flatter about her front feet, but one that's certainly attractive. She's extended. To me, she's just the most practical place to start. I think one that's certainly bold and heavy muscle. Then falling into second pretty logically in my mind is this young man, sandy-colored hall, one that's certainly a little bit sadder featured compared to the two that are at the bottom of the class. One that just reads a little bit flatter in terms of his rib and his center body. Just doesn't have the extra shape and the muscle that we find in that class winner, but a nice practical place to be in second. And then as we go into 3 and 4, I think kind of flip a coin type deal. One of them maybe has a little bit more muscle, if you will. One of them maybe just gets a little bit more open about her blade. One that certainly can get out and move, although I did note the swelling on that back left top, but it doesn't seem to hinder this one. Young man's white bar will be third. Young man spotted up gilt to be there fourth. Just simply hogs that need more muscle shape and dimension. You'd like to make them leveler from blade to hip. They're certainly long body type hogs, though. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Medium weight 4, first place Clayton Krause, second Joseph Haycock, third Noah Garvin, and fourth Colton Stamey. Next class in the ring, medium weight 5, Ashlyn Lunker 228, Blake Hammond 23, Luke Cora 101, Cooper Umbrella 500, Waylon Thrasher 313, and Jordan Kahn 350. Medium weight 5 in the ring. Exhibitors up next, medium weight champion. Remember, first place in each class is at ringside. Second place, you need to be at your pen and ready. Medium weight 1, second place, Blake Gutchall. Medium weight 2, second place, Colt Cleveland. Medium weight 3, second place, Addie Martin. And medium weight 4, second place, Joseph Haycock. Those exhibitors, please be at your pens, ready for the champion drive.
An interesting top pair in this class. I think as we start working our way into the heavier weight type hogs, I think it gets a little bit closer. And there's things that you have to sort through. For me, the two that come to the top in no particular order are the young man over there with that belted hog and the watermelon shirt, and the young lady with the blue belted barrow here. I think ones that are certainly just built right and heavy muscled, ones that are maybe just better in terms of their overall design compared to that are below. And then as I study them individually, which one do I particularly like? And my personal preference today, the longer I study them, is to go ahead and use that belted hog. I think one that reads square and true at the ground coming at me. I think one that's certainly extra bold in terms of its center ribbon body. One that's more opened up and playable through his center cage, yet an up-headed type of a hog there to win. Now, there's no denying, I certainly thought that this blue belted hog was really, really nice, and actually at one point had a hitting the belted hog. To me, I think he just gets a little bit plainer in terms of his ribbon body, and he's standing right up front when he joins right at you. He wants to kind of turn it ever so slightly, square up, and I think someone else might place him differently. Now, the young man that just escaped out of that game right there is going to go ahead and be third. One that's bold-bodied, bold-bladed, certainly has a lot of muscle and a lot of product. One for me that I think just gets a little bit plainer. If you study that one in terms of his jail, he's a little bit rounder made. Just loses the extras compared to that of the top two in this class. Then it gets more interesting as we move on down the line, and that's where I think, the young man over there in the far corner just has the muscle advantage. That one certainly has plenty on him in terms of jail and finish there. No, he's not the best design, but I think from a practicality standpoint, he's one that has more shape and dimension up high, even though his build isn't correct. And then as we work on down the line, I think the young man in the belted barrel here is going to be next, one that's certainly deep-sided and practical. To me, that one reminds me of the old school type hogs, the hogs that I look through with pictures of my family showing, one that's certainly easy feeding, just too plain in terms of expression. And then the young lady that rounds out the class, again, kind of that more commercial-oriented, kind of a narrower chested type hog who's just too plain and flat, but certainly well-bodied and extended. Congratulations to those exhibitors of that class.
Medium weight 5, first place Cooper Umbrell, second Ashlyn Lenker, third Blake Hannon, fourth Luke Corral, fifth Waylon Flasher, and sixth Jordan Kahn. We're now ready for our medium weight champion drive. Medium weight 1, Blake Hammond. Medium weight 2, Joey Nauer. Medium weight 3, Jacob Best. Medium weight 4, Clayton Cruzy. And medium weight 5, Cooper Umbrell. Light heavyweight 1, please make your way to the holding pen. Light heavyweight 1, Caleb Miller, 182. Ashton Gutcher, 468. Emma Mannesmith, 66. Blake Gutcher, 491. Ivy Bigler, 178. Light heavyweight 1s to ringside.
So moving on this middleweight division, I think, again, we've got belted hogs out here that have extra shape, extra muscle, and so then you break them down from there, from a structural standpoint. Which one gets out and moves and plants and pushes with more comfort and flex at the ground? Which one has a better look from the side? For me, I think there's a couple out here that kind of surface to the top, or maybe a little bit more of a challenging class that they came out of. We'll talk about it briefly. I think the young man's pig over here, one that's heavy muscled stout, maybe a little bit choppier off those rear two, not quite as extended. He's getting a little bit higher, a little bit crustier there about his chine. Young man's bear that came out of that class, last class, challenging, one that certainly have to appreciate level from blade to hip and bold backed. Then the young man over here, that one is stout-footed. That thing is big-legged, one that's certainly square about his topside shape and dimension. He just doesn't get around well enough today. He's laboring on that back foot, which is just unfortunate. Young lady's bear over there, again, one that maybe just isn't quite hooked up there as well in terms of from his neck to his blade. One that's just a little bit plainer there in terms of his overall look and design. And then the young man's gilt, one that's certainly long and extended. She's kind of the outlier out here. I think she's a little bit more attractive up front, maybe one that you can appreciate from a design standpoint. She just doesn't have the muscle shape and expression up high there over her loin edge. For me, though, my ultimate favorite young man right here out of this last class. Congratulations.
Medium weight champion goes to Cooper Umbrell. We need Ashlyn Linkers, 228, back into the ring for selection of our reserve champion, medium weight.
Drop that blue belt out here, and I think that was a tough class, and I thought it was really, really close. My second favorite today in this division. Congratulations on having a reserve champion.
Reserve champion medium weight goes to Ashlyn Lenker. Congratulations to all of our medium weight exhibitors. We're now ready for our light heavyweight 1 class. Light heavyweight 1. Caleb Miller, 182. Ashton Getchell, 468. Emma Mattismith, 66. Blake Getchell, 491. And Ivy Bigler, 178. That's your class. Light heavyweight 2s, please come to the holding pen. Light heavyweight 2. Caitlin Garvin, 200. Madeline Mussard, 128. Caitlin Holtree, 261. Declan Smith, 70. Maverick Geddes, 395. Cassius Scrignoli, 307. Light heavyweight 2 to ringside.
Well, we start with our lighter division of the heavyweights, and I think an interesting class because as we move up in weights, you know, they kind of sort themselves out in terms of the way they're put together and the way they're carrying that finish. I'm going to go ahead and start with this young lady's predominantly white hog. Yeah, he's got a swollen nose, but I think that one from the side is the most level from blade to hip. I think he's the most attractive. I think he's just the most correct in terms of his maturity pattern. No, he's not the biggest backed and the heaviest muscle, but for me that's kind of the combination hog. Then we call it for second and third a little bit closer, and for me, the young man in that pig shirt's going to go ahead and be second. That's the heaviest muscled hog of the class. That one's really robust in terms of his center cage. He's the deepest in terms of his center body from the side. He works the most shape down his top. For me, he's just a little bit more forward in the angle of his blade. He doesn't hold his head up quite as well, and then he gets a little bit shorter out of his hip. And then for next, we're going to go ahead and use that young lady there with that belted hog in third. I think that one's long and extended. That one just gets plainer and flatter. Yeah, she's got that one. Her hog's got some shape and dimension from behind, but just not quite as crisp and as expressive. And then as we work down towards the bottom of our class, I think two hogs that just need more in terms of muscle shape and dimension. The young lady that's going to come next. That one's just too one-dimensional coming going. Steady level up front. Yeah, it's actually got some feature and stoutness above, but certainly one that just needs more overall shape and dimension to move up any higher. And then the young man that's going to round out the class with that calico spotted type hog. Again, long body, but productive type of a hog, just too plain, too flat, and ultimately ultimately the mayor was made one of the class. Congratulations to those exhibitors.
Light heavyweight one, first place Emma Monosmith. Second place Blake Gutschall. Third Ashton Gutschall. Fourth Ivy Bigler. And fifth Caleb Miller. Next class, light heavyweight 2, into the ring. Caitlin Garvin, 200. Madeline Musser, 128. Caitlin Hatchery, 261. Declan Smith, 70. Maverick Geddes, 395. And Cassius Scrignari, 307. That's your class. Next class to ringside, light heavyweight 3. Light heavyweight 3 to ringside. Blake Smith, 84. Josh Holtree, 258. Brandon Myers, 174. Max Whitmer, 342. Casey Bauer, 166. Light heavyweight 3 to ringside.
We drop that next class in, and there's lots of different types and kinds, and for me, it's which one do you tie into that puts it all together in the best package. For me, that's going to be the young lady's belted hog over here. I think that one is just simply the best in terms of his build, in terms of his center cage and body. I think he's a heavier muscled hog. Maybe I'd like to see him get his head up, and I think with a different showman that could get his head up, he'd look a little bit leveler and a little bit better there from the side. There's certainly a lot of things that I can appreciate in that hog. As we study next, I think one that you can't deny the extra shape is this purebred looking spot pig. I think one that's big-footed and stout bone, surely big-backed and expressive to me, just gets a little bit piecier when I open about her blade, steadier up front, she's in at her knee, and those are just pieces that I'm picky on today, but certainly one that has a lot of muscle shape and expression. Then it gets more interesting from there. You've got one that's a little bit plainer, a little bit flatter, but a little bit freer and easier moving, and then you've got one that maybe has more center urban body, not quite as descriptive in shape, but can't get around the ring well enough. For me, I'll go ahead and look past the structure. I think there's more true shape in this young man's thin belted hog. I think just a little bit bolder center body, has a little bit stouter hip in him. But then next, the young man going to be there is going to be with that white hog, one that's certainly long body. He reads more open about his blade. He gets too narrow and closed up at the ground. He just needs more shape and dimension. He needs more center body for me. And as we work on down to the bottom of the class, two hogs that again I think are just plainer, but they're easy feeding type practical hogs. That's what real world pigs look like. That's what our pig farmers make their money off of. We're going to go ahead and use the young lady next. I think that one just bolder about his center body. Again, he's smaller footed at the ground, but has more true shape and dimension up high. And the young man that rounds out with that red belted gilt, one that's just too frail featured, certainly flexible. She's probably the sounder one of the class, but just gets a little bit plain and flat for me. But a nice shout to those exhibitors in that class.
Light heavyweight 2, first place Caitlin Holtree. Second, Maverick Geddes. Third, Madeline Musser. Fourth, Declan Smith. Fifth, Caitlin Garvin. And sixth, Cassius Scrignari. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 3, Blake Smith, 84. Josh Holtree, 258. Braden Myers, 174. Max Whitmire, 342. And Casey Bauer, 166. Next class to the holding pen, light heavyweight 4. Light heavyweight 4 to the holding pen. Alyssa Fraker, 340. Tyler Best, 328. Madeline Musser, 129. Maverick Geddes, 394. Colton Kloberger, 225. Light heavyweight 4 to ringside.
An interesting class comes in next, and for me, lights out. Young man in the Hawaiian shirt wins and wins for fun. I think that one is big-footed. He's stout-boned, extra burly made. One that's certainly extended ahead of his blade, puts it together in a really nice package. I think it gets a little bit more interesting from there between second and third. For me, you've got one that low from his hip forward, and then you've got another one that's probably just kind of an easy-fitting, practical-type hog that's chock full of muscle. But for me, I think he's just too compact. I'll go ahead and look past this one's hip, slide this cheetah-colored hog in second. From his hip forward, there's a lot of things that I can appreciate about him. And I think, too, when you're standing at the ground coming at me, he's just a little bit louder and a little bit square made. Young man there with that thin-belted hog is going to go ahead and drop in third. One that's bull-bodied, he's really heavy muscle. To me, he's playing on his muscle shape. You study him on the top side of his skeleton. One that I think gets rounder to his edges. He's certainly bull-bodied and big-bodied, but just one that's not quite as crisp and as expressive. And then as we move on down the line, I think for me, the young man over here has got the heavier muscle hog that's going out the gate. He's just a little bit more robust through his center body, a little bit more practical. And then the young man that rounds out the class, that one's just a further featured one, gets more open about his blade. He needs more true shape and dimension to move up any higher, but a nice class for those exhibitors.
Light heavyweight 3, first place Casey Bauer. Second, Braden Melrose. Third, Josh Holtree. Fourth, Max Whitmer. And fifth, Blake Smith. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 4. Alyssa Fraker, 340. Tyler Best, 328. Madeline Musser, 129. Maverick Geddes, 394. And Colton Kloberger, 225. That's your class. Next class to the holding pen, light heavyweight 5. Light heavyweight 5 to ringside. Mason Wickard, 460. Alyssa Fraker, 341. Chase Cruzy, 208. Tanner Smith, 83. Cassius Scrignoli, 306. And Max Whitmer, 343. Light heavyweight 5 to ringside.
Another nice class, and I think two hogs that come to the front rather quickly in my mind. Young man's blue belt here is going to go ahead and win the class. I think that one's the most level from blade to hip. I think he reads with a bigger top shad shape when you get right on top of him. To me, he's just the practical place to start. He's certainly big-footed and stout-featured as well. Young man's Gareth here in second. That one's big-footed. She's stout-boned. To me, she just comes in a little bit more pithy of package. She's too tight and restricted there in her hand-line junction. She's more open about her blade. She's a more moderate type of hog, but certainly there's plenty that you can appreciate. She's expressive. She's heavy-muscled. I just like to make a little bit slower about her shoulder there. Then we'll work into third. Young man's Black Hog's going to come next. That one, from the side, you can appreciate some things about. Certainly one that has some feature and some status. You get on top of him, that one's just too long a script to a shape. He's playing and flat in terms of his muscle from blade by hip. He just needs more expression to move up any higher. And then we'll work on down the line. I think two hogs that both have problems in terms of one just doesn't have enough muscle, and then there's down one that's completely wrong in terms of his build. But I think he is the heavier muscled, more carcass type of a hog. Young lady over there with that bar is going to go ahead and be next. Young man's going to round out the class. That one's the furthest featured at the ground, steps up on its tippy toes, and really you just have to have overall more muscle shape and dimension. But congratulations to those exhibitors.
Light heavyweight for first place Tyler Best, second Maverick Geddes, third Madeline Messer, fourth Alyssa Faker, and fifth Colton Klayberger. Next class in the ring, light heavyweight 5. Mason Rickard 460, Alyssa Faker 341, Chase Cruzy 208, Tanner Smith 83, Cassius Scrignolo 306, and Max Whitmer 343. That's your class. Attention exhibitors in and around the barn. Please check your animals, not just your pigs, but everything in the barns for water. It's getting very warm outside, and there are a lot of pens without water or empty water buckets. Check on your neighbors too. They may not be here on the grounds. Let's get water in for all the animals. We need to keep everything hydrated and cool. So exhibitors, check your pens, check your animals for water. Let's get everybody taken care of. Up next will be our light heavyweight champion drive. First place in each class is at ringside. Second place, you need to be at your pen and ready. Light heavyweight 1, second place, Blake Gutchall. Light heavyweight 2, Maverick Geddes. Light heavyweight 3, Brandon Myers. And light heavyweight 4, Maverick Geddes. Be at your pens, ready for the champion drive.
As we round out the last class in this particular division, I think it gets a little bit interesting at this particular weight. I think there's one to win, and then there's definitely sort there after that. You know, down here at the chromed up hogs, they go ahead and be our class winner. I think that one is just the place to start in terms of rib and body. That one's got plenty of muscle shape and dimension. Is she perfect? No, she wants to swivel and swing her back to where she hinges out of that hip. But to me, you just can't look past her extra shape and dimension. I think for me, like I said, it gets more challenging. And do you tie into something that's heavy muscled but not good build and front featured at the ground? Or do you tie into something that's a little bit sounder, long body? For me, I'm going to go ahead and use that young man's spotted hog because I think he is the next heaviest muscled one. He works with a product from blade to hip. Certainly I'd like to change a lot of things about him from a structural standpoint and design. And then for next, we're going to go ahead and use that young man's red hog right there. That one certainly has plenty on her in terms of cover. She's a little bit waistier there up front, but to me she's the bolder bodied one that offers more shape up high compared to the ones that remain in the class. Then as we move on down the line, young lady's belted hog will come in next. Long bodied, almost a rib too long for me. Really gets straight off of both ends, simply just doesn't have enough muscle shape up high. Following that one's going to go ahead and leave that young man's white pig, one that certainly, again, the long-bodied one, actually actually probably reads with more comfort and flex at the ground, a little bit more shape up high, just to step out of its hip and to dry in terms of a ribbon body. And then the young man that rounds out the class with that red belted hog, again, just to start off of both ends, the plainest and the flattest made hog of the class. Look forward to seeing that class winner back out here in the drive shortly.
Light heavyweight 5, first place Chase Crozy, second Max Whitmer, third Tanner Smith, fourth Alyssa Fiker, fifth Mason Wickard, and sixth Cassius Scrignali. We're now ready for our light heavyweight champion. Light heavyweight 1, Emma Manasmith. Light heavyweight 2, Caitlin Holtree. Light heavyweight 3, Casey Bayer. Light heavyweight 4, Tyler Best. And light heavyweight 5, Chase Crozy.
We go ahead and top these lighter weight, heavyweight hogs for division here, and I don't think they're quite as consistent or fit together quite as nice as our other divisions did. For me, I think they just come in a little bit different package with more pieces and things that you can appreciate. We'll go ahead and just talk them individually. Young ladies white hog, like I mentioned, long-bodied, super level down his top from blade to hip, really flat about his shoulder. One that to me, you get behind him, just doesn't have enough shape and dimension, just a little bit plainer, a little bit flatter made. Young ladies belted hog over there. That one certainly is bold about his center ribbon body. To me, I think he's just a little bit straighter. He doesn't have quite the foot and bone underneath him. And ideally, I want to crank his blade up in the way he comes out of his shoulder there. And I want him to see with his head driven up. But then we studied in the other ones. I think you come into this barrel next, and certainly the status featured one, certainly square hip, big back, all the extras that you can tie into, throw any term out there that the show pig guys use, and that one is certainly it. Young man's blue back barrow here, one, again, level, long, certainly lean and really fresh. I really appreciate that one from the blade forward in terms of how fresh he is. A lot of things that I can like about that one as well. And then the young man over there with the chromed up gilt, one that's certainly bold about her center ribbon body. She's big back. For me, she just gets too round out of her hip, and I'd like to change her from her blade forward. She just sets a little bit lower there in the way she ties. But to me, again, it's a little bit more challenging in the division. There's one that I really like, but for me, it comes as more of a sort, what you're going to do there in reserve. We're going to go ahead and select our champion, young man in that Hawaiian shirt, ultimately my favorite. Congratulations.
Champion light heavyweight goes to Casey Bayer. We'll excuse him. We'll bring back Brayden Myers, 174. We'll select our reserve champion light heavyweight. Market hog exhibitors, if you're in heavyweight 1, please make your way to the holding pen. Heavyweight 1, Colton Kahn, 349. Jack Getchell, 149. Clayton Stanley, 388. Colton Clayburger, 226. Heavyweight 1s to the holding pen. Once again, our champion division drive here is sponsored by Stitt Show Pigs, Josh, Abby, and Braxton Stitt. Thanks so much for your support of the show.
Young man drops that second place barrel out of that class in the ring, and we look at him again. We talked about him from his hip forward. Unfortunately, just the way he's getting out today, he's just needs to set with more comfort and flex at the ground. My second favorite, the most fault-free young man right here with this blue hip barrel. Congratulations.
Reserve champion light heavyweight goes to Tyler Best. Congratulations to our light heavyweight exhibitors. We're now ready for heavyweight one. Heavyweight one to the ring. Heavyweight 2, you should be coming to the holding pen. Heavyweight 2, Sharon Swope 229, Sean Kutz 319, Addie Martin 381, Caitlin Hawtrey 260, Jacob Best 329. Heavyweight 2 to ringside.
We get our heavyweights out here in just four, but amongst the four, the one that's just the best in terms of his design and not necessarily perfect by any means, but of these four, to me, the most robust and best in terms of his center body. Young man Spider Bar over there. He reads the most practical about his center cage, and he has the most shape down his top from blade to hip. No, he's not the stoutest featured at the ground. There's certainly things he'd like to change, but amongst his contemporaries, that's the place that he lands. Young man's going to come out here in second with this barrel. I think one that reads just with more practicality down his top and out of his hip. Yeah, he's a little bit flatter and narrower made. I'd like to just make him stouter there out of his hip and make him a little bit wagger there at the ground. Then we come in here to the bone parent gilts, and I think, differences in terms of type and kind, but for me, the speckle-backed white hog there just has a more true shape and dimension, especially there through her lower hand. She's just too shallow in terms of her ribbon body. And then the red-belted hog that rounds out the class, just too tight and spine. She's really up in her top, and she's the narrowest and the flattest at the ground. She'll go ahead and round out that class. But congratulations to those heavyweight exhibitors.
Heavyweight 1, first place Colton Clayberger, second Colton Kahn, third Clayton Staley, and fourth Jack Gutschall. Well, we've got that class close to the ring. We're going to go ahead and present our grand champion weight of gain for the Market Swine. Colton Clayberger with your 266 peg champion weight of gain, sponsored by Ebersol Show Pigs. Come on out and get your banner, bud. Colton's peg gain 2.24 pounds per day. Let's give him a round of applause. Great job, Colton. Heavyweight 2, ready for the ring. Heavyweight 2, Sharon Swope 229, Sean Kutz 319, Addie Martin 381, Caitlin Hawtrey 260, Jacob Best 329. Heavyweight 3, make your way to ringside. Heavyweight 3. Henry Kutz, 315. Braden Miller, 184. Caitlin Garvin, 197. Kate Getchell, 150. And Judd Cleveland, 362.
As we talk about this next class, the heavyweights, I think the young man that brought us this big barrel here out in showmanship, I was intrigued by. That one is up-headed. He's good in terms of his skeletal build and design. He's not the stoutest-footed one we've seen all day, but honestly, I think that works to his advantage because he still offers some comfort and flex, and he's still comfortable there on his pasterns up front. Certainly one that you can appreciate a lot of things about. He's big-backed. And extra stout. Then I think it gets a little bit more challenging and closer for second and third. I'm going to go ahead and use this young lady's blue bar there in second. One that I think initially when he came in the ring, I didn't think he had enough muscle or enough shape. From the side, I certainly can appreciate a lot of things about him. He's the longer toed bar there that I think when you step right behind him, it gets a little bit plainer in terms of his topside shape from blade to hip. But I think he's a little bit leveler and more correct in terms of his skeletal design. The young lady that's going to land down third is that belted hog out there. That young lady's gilt is certainly long-bodied. Again, one that you want to elevate in terms of her blade, or one that certainly is long in terms of rubber body. I think if she would have drank another drink and she would have had a few more oats or something in her to give her a little bit more bulk in the center portion of her body, she could have maybe been a contender. But for me, she just reads a little bit drier and a little bit harsher. And then next, we're going to land on this dog hog, one that is certainly big-backed and heavy-muscled, stout-featured type of a pig. He's just too flat in terms of his ribbon body. He's not quite put together well enough from blade to hip. I'd like to elevate him there, just make him a little bit more correct there in terms of the way he comes at you at his knee. And then we'll round out the class with a unique colored cheetah-looking hog. That one is certainly practical, one that isn't too long-bodied. He's not too short. He just needs more muscle shape and dimension. But congratulations to those exhibitors.
Heavyweight 2, first place, Jacob Best. Second, Addie Martin. Third, Caitlin Holtree. Fourth, Shaylin Swope. And fifth, Sean Kutz. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 3. Henry Kutz, 315. Braden Miller, 184. Caitlin Garvin, 197. Kate Getchell, 150. And Judd Cleveland, 362. Heavyweight 3s into the ring. That's your class. Heavyweight 4 is to ringside. Heavyweight 4, Kate Getchell, 152, Ashlyn Lenker, 227, and Caleb Miller, 185. Heavyweight 4 to ringside.
Well, amongst these 5 out here, it's no contest. The young man over there in the corner with that belted kind of chrome type hog just wins and wins for fun. That one is extra big backed. He's stout featured, one that's certainly correct in terms of his ribbon body, and he's really good in terms of his finish and still being fresh. I like a lot of things about that one. I think for me where it gets more challenging is what you do from there. For me, the young man that's got that darker kind of a spotted up hog there on the fence is going to come in there in second. One that I think just reads with more stoutness, a feature at the ground, a little bit bolder about its ribbon body and more expressive there through her hip. Then I think it gets interesting. Some of them that just have pieces that you like but don't tie into for any big reasons. For me, I'm going to go ahead and use the young lady's kind of whiter made hog over there. I think one that maybe gets plain in the seam of his ham and he's flatter about his center ribbon body, but I think he's just the more practical one that reads more level from blade to hip. Then we're going to go ahead and use the young lady's spotted gilt over here, one that's deep about her center ribbon body. She's just too short off of either end, needs to offer more comfort and flex. And then the young lady's pig that rounds out the class, that one just needs to be leveler down her top, one that comes too narrow at the ground and closed up. Too PC for me, but congratulations, that's a nice project for that young lady.
Heavyweight 3, first place, Jared Cleveland. Second, Henry Kutz. Third, Caitlin Garvin. Fourth, Braden Miller. And fifth, Kate Gutschall. Next class in the ring, heavyweight 4. Heavyweight 4, Kate Gutschall, 152. Ashley Walker, 227. Caleb Miller, 185. Heavyweight 4s, into the ring. That's your class. Last class to the hurdle ring. Heavyweight 5. Braden Myers, 175. Hannah Orris, 190. And Gwen McKee, 302. Heavyweight 5s to the hurdle ring.
Young ladies' blue bar out here is undeniably the heaviest muscle, the biggest back. Throw all the EST words out from the judging book. I think that one comes at you the widest at the ground. No, he's not the most correct in terms of his structural build. I'd like to free him up as he gets out and goes, but to me, that one just simply has to win. I think from there, two more hogs that are, again, kind of more of a commercial-focused type genetics. The young lady there in the middle of the ring with that red-tinged bar, or gilt, excuse me, is going to be second in class. That one I think is just a little bit leveler down her top. I think she's more practical, not to mention she has a touch bigger foot and bone underneath her. And then the black white hog that rounds out the class, one that just gets too narrow from coming and going, just the plainest and the flattest, ultimately the lightest muscle landing in third. But congratulations, exhibitors.
Heavyweight 4, first place, Ashlyn Lenker. Second, Kate Gutschall. And third, Caleb Miller. Next class in the ring is heavyweight 5. Heavyweight 5, Braden Myers, 175. Hannah Orris, 190. And Gwen McKeon, 302. After this class, we're ready to select our champion heavyweight. First place in each class is at ringside. Second place, be at your pen and ready for the champion drive. Colton Kahn, 349. Addie Martin, 381. Henry Kutz, 315. And Caleb Miller, 185.
Young man brings us an extremely nice blue belted gilt out here in the center of the ring, and that That one's really comfortable at the ground. She's wide coming and going. She's ultra fresh for this stage in the game, one that you can certainly appreciate a lot of things about. Then for second, we're going to go ahead and use the young lady here with the thin belted hog. I think one that's just a little bit more practical in terms of the center of her body, one that offers more shape up high, one that certainly needs more in terms of muscle, but comparatively lands in second. The young lady that's going to round out our class does a nice job showing this pig, but for me, one that's just too straight off of both ends of his skeleton. He just doesn't have the extra muscle shape, but certainly an easy feeding nice project for that young lady. Congratulations, exhibitors.
Heavyweight for first place, Braden Myers. Second, Hannah Orris. And third, Gwen Key. We're now ready for a heavyweight champion drive. Heavyweight champions into the ring. Heavyweight 1, Colton Kleberger. Heavyweight 2, Jacob Best. Heavyweight 3, Judd Cleland. Heavyweight 4, Ashlyn Lanker. And heavyweight 5, Braden Myers. After selection of our heavyweight champion, we're going to do our overweight market hog class. Overweight market hogs, you can start making your way to the holding ring. Overweights, Mason Wickard, 461, Jack Getchell, 148. Once again, overweight market hogs to the holding pen.
Let's give these class winners a round of applause. As we study this heavyweight division, I think a really nice set of hogs come back out here, and I think, again, offer some differences in terms of types and kinds. We'll talk them just briefly. Young man right here, one that you can certainly appreciate a lot of things about. Really good in terms of his center ribbon body. He's not one that's overdone. Still gets out and murders with enough comfort and flex. Certainly appreciate him. Young lady's blue hog here, one that is really big backed and square made, one that just kind of tucks himself underneath him from behind, doesn't get out there out of his hip quite well enough for me. Young man, he's blue hipped good, certainly one that you tie into for a lot of reasons. Ultra big backed, really flexible at the ground, really fresh made, one that I like quite a bit. Young man's hog over there that certainly just doesn't want to cooperate today is one that's up-headed. He's good in terms of his blade. He's ultra big backed. A lot of big EST words that you can put on him. No, he's probably not the biggest footed at the ground, but he's definitely stout-boned and stout-featured, and certainly I appreciate a lot about him. And then the other hog that we have out here, that spotted up barrel, that class wasn't quite as deep, but certainly more practical and heavy muscle. You can find find a lot of things in him that you like. So studying for what they are, and I think it gets a little bit challenging for me. I think both my champion and reserve in this particular division are both standing out here in this ring and kind of go back and forth in my mind. Do you go with the trendy show hog that's really big back, or do you go with something that's a little bit more complete, a little bit more moderate, a little bit more middle of the road as far as a trend? And for me, my ultimate favorite today, young man right here is going to have our champion heavyweight.
Champion heavyweight goes to Brandon Myers, 175.
And then we talk about him for reserve. We won't even drop in that second place. I've got my mind made up. My second favorite is that young man over here with this belted hog. Congratulations.
Reserve champion heavyweight goes to Judd Cleveland's 362. All right, we're going to excuse and send all the pigs back. Let them get cooled off, get a drink of water, relax for a minute, and then we'll be ready for our grand champion drive. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and do our overall market hog class.
Just 2 entries here in our overweight class that aren't eligible for the top overall. Study them for what they are at this weight. Honestly, they're still pretty trim. I'm going to go ahead and start with that spotted up calico type hog. I think that one just reads the best in terms of being the strongest down its top and certainly bold in terms of her center ribbon body and has more muscle shape compared to that of the belted gilt. This belted gilt just reads too frail at the ground. She needs to be stouter in terms of her feature, and ultimately I'd like to just blow her apart and give her more rib and more body and more muscle shape. But nice job to those 2 exhibitors.
In our overweight class, first place to Mason Rickard and second to Jack Gutschall. We're going to take just a minute while we continue to let those animals in the champion drive cool down and get some water, and then we're ready for our grand champion market swine drive. But while we have a quick second, once again, I'd like to thank our judge, Miss Annie Wolf, for doing a great job today. Let's give her a round of applause. I think she's been phenomenal with our youth, and she definitely kept our show moving for this heat we've got. Of course, we've given lots of applause to all of our exhibitors, but I think they deserve another one before we get ready to do this grand champion drive. All the market hog exhibitors for their hard work, the evidence that they can show they've worked all season long. And last but not least, our show sponsors, Stitch Show Pigs, Eversole Show Pigs. Thank you so much, Todd Umbrella Auctioneering, for sponsoring all of our classes and our champion drives and recognizing our kids for their hard work. Let's give them a round of applause as well. And of course, the crew standing out here in the middle, working the show ring, working the gates, moving the boards, trying to keep the kids moving and the pigs hydrated. Let's give all of our ring help and our parents and volunteers a great big round of applause. Thanks so much. Here we go, Grand Champion Market Swine Drive. Grand Champion Market Swine. Young lightweight champion, Emmeline Cleveland, 363. Young mediumweight champion, Cooper Bell, 500. Young light heavyweight champion, Casey Bell, 166. And your heavyweight champion, Brandon Myers, 175. Exhibitors that are not in the champion drive, we will do pen of 2 market swine next. Pen of 2 market swine. They will be judged in the pens, and exhibitors must be present in order for their pen to be judged. If your name's on the screen, you entered pen of 2 market swine. The judge will be coming through the barn after our grand champion drive. So be at your pens, ready to present your pair of hogs if you are interested in competing.
Well, first of all, before we talk the hogs, I want to thank the show committee for having me and allowing me the opportunity to come sort through the livestock. More importantly, I truly enjoy working with the kids, and your kids were extra respectful today, really pleasant in the show ring, and you could tell they were having fun. And like I mentioned in showmanship, that's the most important part of it. I know win, lose, or draw. Today, someone's going to come out of here and not be as happy, hoping that they were going to grab a banner. And ultimately, that's why we do this. You know, some days are our days, and some days, we go back home empty-handed, and we're going to continue to work hard and strive to be better the next time. And so I think I've been really, really pleased with the show. We've ran an efficient show. I hope that you feel the same about it. I'm very happy with the class winners that we had and brought them into division, and then we end up here in our champion drive. I just want to thank the guys that were out here with the boards. It takes a village, no joke, to put on a show. I've done it before, and honestly, it's a thankless job. And so, like she mentioned, the sponsors, the people back here announcing, running back in the barn, making sure that you kids are up here on time. Make sure you tell them thank you. Another thank you that you need to tell is your parents and your family members, because it wasn't until I was older that I realized what it took to do this expensive hobby that we have. And so I hope that you go home and you tell them thank you, and you realize how much work it is, the time, the money, like I mentioned before. So again, I don't think there's a better thing to do than to raise kids in the livestock industry for multiple reasons. And I don't know if any of you had the chance to watch the champion drive at the Delaware State Fair the other day, but I think Kane Austin gave an incredible speech. I wasn't there in person, but I saw it on social media. And I think just everything that he said, why we do this and what we do it for is truly important. And so if you have the opportunity to find that speech, I encourage you to watch it. I like to talk a lot, but I'm going to keep it short because it's hot. I think we've had an incredible show, great exhibitors. I certainly, again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity. I'm going to go out here and select your champion, and I think it was an incredible show. We'll drop in our reserve division, and we'll go from there. Congratulations to all exhibitors. It's been a pleasure to sort through.
Grand champion market hall is Braden Myers out of the heavyweight division. Judd Cleveland will take your reserve. We're going to select our reserve grand champion.
We'll drop that reserve in here from that heavyweight division, and no, he's not wanting to take to the whip well today, but I think that one is ultra cool. He's extremely big backed, he's built right. Really, I can appreciate a lot of things about. I think for me, it gets really close for reserve in my line between a couple of them out here. I'm going to go ahead and select my second favorite of the day. But again, congratulations. It's been a pleasure, and I appreciate you having me. My second favorite, right here. Congratulations, young man.
Reserve grand champion market hall, Judd Cleveland. Congratulations once again to all of our market swag exhibitors. Great job by everybody. We'll do some pictures and then we'll be ready for pen of 2 market swine. Pen of 2 market swine. Exhibitors, be at your pen, ready to be judged.